ஆமா. All right, guys, we got to skip here. Open up the questions. Jeff.
So this is the first time you've taken Long from first base and brought him into a game like that. How do you think he handled that? And did you have any thoughts about not doing it since, with the warm-up thing and all that, or just like strategically it was the right thing to do?
Well, honestly, truthfully, we sat down before the game and said, we're going to split the game with you and Jack at first because we want to see how you respond coming off the field in a closed situation. So, truth be told, it worked perfectly to what we wanted to do because we wanted to learn to see how he would handle that. The only thing that made it a little challenging was he was on deck, if you recall, in the inning before, so he didn't have that opportunity to go get loose in the pen in a traditional way. But that aside, there's nothing really traditional about this year, so that we've been preaching that to our kids just to be ready for anything. But I thought he handled it. I thought he handled it wonderfully.
Jacob.
Tracy, the bullpen yesterday and today were very good. And I know today there was a little more traffic and it seemed like they had to get through more difficult situations, but you guys have been very strong out of the bullpen. I'm curious, just your thoughts on those guys' performance yesterday and today now.
Well, I think what you're seeing is guys getting comfortable and realizing, and we've talked about it, guys are going to have to step up because, with some of the guys going down and all the innings that we have to make up. And sometimes when that I'm the man now and I have to do it, it creates a little bit of a different mindset. You're not always looking over your shoulder. So what I've noticed with those guys is they're comfortable. They're not worried necessarily. And I'm not saying, don't take this the wrong way, but about the result. They're doing a really, really good job of just focusing on executing the pitch that is called. And then the result will, if you do that well enough, often enough, then good results will follow. But I've been, we've called on a lot of different numbers out there, and all the guys are doing a really, really good job of being ready to compete.
Kevin.
Coach, you guys were 4 for 8 leading off the inning in this game. How important is it you guys stressing getting the leadoff man on?
Well, in baseball, anytime, it's not something to stress. It's something you want to happen. I think we bailed them out a couple of times on the ground. They got out of the double plays. It turned a couple double plays, but it's key. You got 3 outs in an inning, so if you can get that first guy on, it certainly increases your percentage of scoring.
Cool.
Hey, Coach. Tyler Thornton, it looked like sort of struggled in the middle innings once again, as he did last week. What were sort of your thoughts on his start, and what do you think he needs to work on going forward?
Well, he did it. It's kind of my fault. He was tiring a little bit, after the 5th. We tried to get another inning out of him, and of course, he gave up the solo home run, and that one's on me because he shouldn't have been in there. And but you ask a starter to give you 5 with a chance to win, particularly the way that we're doing it. So I don't look at it as a particularly a bad performance, a struggle. He went 5 innings and punched out 6 and didn't walk anybody. And sometimes you have to tip your cap to the opposition in doing what they did. They hit the ball over the fence, and at this level, that's pretty hard to do. So he did his job, and we needed him to go 5, and that's exactly what he did. And we were still in position to win that game, and ultimately did. So honestly, I was pleased with his performance today.
Jacob.
With Justin just getting the 1 out, I know you wanted to test Ethan and see how he would respond coming off of first and then starting to pitch. Was there also a factor there of just trying to preserve Justin a little bit for tomorrow? What was the decision there?
No, rarely, our whole motto is we're going to win this game, 1 game at a time. It's just the matchup was better. Their hitter coming on deck or up to the plate struggles with breaking balls, and we just felt like Ethan's breaking ball, particularly from the right-on-right matchup, was a better situation for us percentage-wise.
Jeff,
You're hitting in the seventh inning, starting with Sean and Kai and then Pivarov. I mean, that's kind of what you're looking for, right? Like you said, you can't depend on the home run. So you need to get up there and be able to push some runs across in that kind of situation with those guys.
Yeah, they were just good at bats. Guys were trying to move runners and situationally, and they happened to go through. So the execution was phenomenal. But when you're looking at it from a coaching standpoint, you're looking at, is the guy trying to do what he's supposed to do? The hit is either going to you don't really have control over that, but what you have control is how you work the at bat. And I really thought our guys did an excellent job of working the at bats properly in that situation. And I'll say it again, if you do that enough, you're going to play consistent baseball and come out on the winning ledger more often than not.
Jacob,
With regard to tomorrow's game, have you guys thought about who might start? And then also, do you kind of plan for the Friday and the Sunday games to look similar from personnel standpoints? How are you kind of going about this at this point?
Yeah, I mean, well, first of all, your first answer would be we're going to start Justin Fall tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, we're going to do it a little bit unconventionally. And what I mean by that is not the traditional 3 starters and probably get 5 or 6 out of a starter. We feel like we've got some great pieces. And if we can play the matchups throughout the game with the quality arms that we have in that bullpen, we feel like we're going to get to the 6th and 7th with our bullpen intact, much like we did today.
any other questions? Thanks, kid.
Thank you.
Standing ovation. All right, guys, we're going to start with Ty Murphy. Raise your hand for questions. Jacob,
Kai, could you kind of just walk us through your at bat where you homered today, and then also just kind of the approach that the team has had mentally over the last couple of games from a hitting standpoint?
Yeah, definitely. Starting just with the homer was, I knew what the guy had. I knew, he's kind of a sinker guy. He likes to go 2 seam, especially to lefties. And like 2 at bats before, with 2 strikes against JMO, he tried to throw a little 2-seamer down, kind of a comebacker. So I kind of felt like he was going to throw that. And I just, I heard a little voice. First time I heard a voice in my head, it was my dad just saying, eliminate the second baseman on a sinker ball guy like that. So I was just not rolling over to second. And, good things happen after that. But the team mentality has just been, those are 2 good starters we just faced. We got to keep chipping away, like have innings like we had, get 2 timely hits like Piv. Just keep pecking, because that's the team that we are. We don't go away. We keep going.
Jacob,
Yesterday, Joe Lampe had said that you guys as a team kind of feel like you need to be more consistent with your approach at the plate as you get later into games. He said that you guys kind of feel like early you're playing well, and then later it kind of fades off. Was this game a positive in that regard? Because it seemed like you guys really turned things on later in the game as opposed to earlier, and you kind of stayed with it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, obviously, in a game like yesterday, something we took away was we got to, we played well all game, but we got to keep having good ABs, all 9. And today that was something that we did. We had, good at bats. We got down and we were down 3 or, down 2, whatever. And all it takes is 3 good at bats and you're back in the game. So, that's how we take it, at bat by at bat. And everyone means something to every guy in the lineup. Every at bat means something to him. So special.
Jacob,
As somebody who has experience pitching from the bullpen, can you kind of speak to what your teammates might be, going through or thinking just with the amount of work that they have to do at this point from the bullpen because of the guys that you are missing, and if you could speak to their performance as well too?
Yeah, I mean, those guys the bullpen has picked up a lot of slack for us, not even slack, but, we've had injuries and things go the other way. And, guys are, guys want the ball. Ethan wants the ball every day as much as, his arm is getting taxed, and you see it, he'll come in from first base and just compete. And that's what all our guys in the bullpen do. They come in and compete, and, they might not have their best stuff that day. They might just have one pitch, but, they're going to compete. They're going to get outs, and that feeds us. That feeds the offense and makes, the defense want to make plays for them. So it's really cool.
Yeah.
You talked about your home run. Can you also talk about what happened there in the seventh after McLean's hit, and then how you guys kind of strung that together to get the lead?
Yeah, I mean, that was, like I said, that was one of those times where we said, hey, we're down 2 or whatever, and all it takes is 3 good at bats and we're back in the game. And, that's kind of what we did. McLean had a great AB. I went in there and battled, and Piv came in, Sam, Lamp, that's 5 great at bats, but, that's all it takes. We knew we were going to get them back, and all it took was just a good focus for an inning. So.
Anybody else? Thanks, Cap.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Got Ethan Long coming up. Questions? Jacob.
Ethan, can you kind of talk about the challenge or what you're thinking when you find out that you're moving from first to the mound, and what that was like?
To be honest, I was excited. At the start of the inning, I wanted the ball, but I have trust in our guys, so they were coming in, pitching, throwing great. And then Fall got that strikeout, and then he called a meeting, and I saw Logan Poston in the dugout running with my pitcher's glove. So I was like, oh, here we go. So I got pretty pumped up, and then Skip walked out and told me I was about to pitch. So I got real excited because I wanted the ball.
Jacob.
You're kind of one of the guys who's thrown quite a bit in a young season already, and I know that can be taxing for some guys. I'm curious kind of how you approach that, both physically, and so how you're going about the recovery and making sure that you're ready to go as much as you do, and then also mentally what that's like.
Yeah, physically it's definitely taxing. I make sure to get all my recovery in. As soon as I'm done pitching, I go down, do my bands, weighted ball. I have a Mark Pro. It's like a stem unit. Do that every night. And I mean, even days I don't throw at all, I take at least one day a week where I'll play light catch about 90 feet. And then those days are my big recovery days where I'll Mark Pro 2-3 times a day. Just trying to get my arm to feel like 100% like always. And it seems to be working. My arm doesn't hurt when I throw, hasn't hurt yet. So I'm going to keep it up. But mentally it's not that taxing, to be honest. I get put into like tough situations, but I know the coaches trust me with it, and I know I trust my stuff, and I worked hard, and that's what I worked for was those situations. So I knew that I can come in and shut it down, so I don't really have to think much about it.
Jacob.
Obviously that mentality is important for you and your ability to be successful. I'm curious the conversations that you have with your fellow relief pitchers and kind of how it's been, whether or not you've been a leader among that group in terms of that mentality with the amount of work you guys have to do lately.
Yeah. Well, even in bullpens and stuff, we'll have competitions with each other, like pretty much pig, where I'll call, say it's a curveball away, and I throw it, I miss my spot or whatever, and then the guy that's on next to me, he has to throw the same pitch, and if he gets it better, like we're always having little competitions here and there to just keep up our competitiveness for when we actually go on the mound. But all of us pitchers have that like killer mentality where we want to go out there and just shove it down their throat. We don't want them to even step foot on the same field as us. We want to go out there and make it happen and win the game. And all of them have it. There's not much that I got to teach them. I've grown up with it. My whole family has it. So then I get here and it's like I'm still with my family. I mean, it's pretty much my brothers anyway. I'm with them every day. So it's the same family that I grew up with.
Jeff.
You said you were excited to come over from first base, but you also didn't have an opportunity to warm up at all. So any concerns in that regard, or have you done that enough times that you can move over in that situation without having to worry about that?
The first time I got to warm up was my first outing in college. High school, I've came straight from center field, straight from right field, straight from first base, third base, wherever it is I'm playing, I've always came straight in. Never really been like a big bullpen guy. So it was actually weirder for me to go out to the pen before I came out to pitch than it was to come straight from first base today to the mound. Because I just grew up doing it my whole life. So it's like second nature by now.
Jacob.
I'm curious about the games that you guys play with each other in the bullpen and kind of how you feel like that might impact your performance. And then also just is there kind of a burden you guys feel or a responsibility you guys feel with the guys who are injured right now? It sounds like there's just a lot of work that this bullpen is going to have to do in order to kind of keep this team going the way it is. So if you could just speak to both of those things.
On the games part, it's pretty much just to build competitiveness, but also keep it fun. Like it is a game. We got to have fun with it, even though we want to win. So it's competitive and it can get intense. Baseball is just a game, so we want to have fun while we're doing it. So we'll play like pig, kind of like follow the leader, like little things like that. And then we'll even do live at bats, stuff like that with hitters. And we kind of set it up to like pitchers versus hitters type deal in the fall. Makes it a little more fun. And on the burden part, this bullpen's so deep, as you guys saw last Sunday, other guys coming in here and there. We have so many great arms in our bullpen that there's not really anything that we got to stress about, or we have to say Friday, if we start coming to the bullpen in the third inning, we still have enough arms for the bullpen to come in like fourth, fifth inning Saturday, Sunday. Like there's so many great guys in that bullpen, and they all have the right mentality to come out. And I have trust in every single one of them. There's not like one guy comes in, I'm like, oh crap, this guy, like, no, every guy that comes out of the bullpen, they come out to get the job done, and they most of the time they do.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, we got Sean McLean here. Questions? Jeff.
Sean, you had a couple strikeouts and then you turn around and come back and you have two big at bats, two big hits. Well, how do you turn that around after a couple of ABs that I'm sure you weren't totally thrilled with
Yeah,
before you got to the double?
Yeah, Kyle Luckham, he's a good pitcher. I played summer ball with him. I thought I knew what he was going to throw me coming into the game. Unfortunately, I didn't. Had two strikeouts on him. But, yeah, I mean, he executed his pitches really well. I think he made me look silly my first two at-bats, but I was able to bounce back in my third one and, get a double out of it. But, yeah, he's a good pitcher. I'll give it to him.
Jacob.
Can you kind of just speak to your guys' approach coming into the seventh inning where you're trailing and the game hasn't gone as you probably had hoped it would offensively, and how you guys kind of go into innings where you're able to turn it around the way you guys did?
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be behind, you're going to be ahead, but your approach still stays the same every time. And, Mike was just telling the hitters, just be on for the fastball, be ready for the fastball, because he felt like earlier in the game we weren't ready for the fastball with Luckham going on the mound. But, eventually we were able to get some fastballs and we were able to take advantage and do some damage. And, yeah, it was fun. Kai had a big hit, and I thought just the approach stayed the same. Like, I thought the approach was just hit fastball and just off speed.
Gabe.
Sean, what impresses you the most about the bullpen in terms of observing them and seeing how much success that they've had?
You said the bullpen?
Yeah, what impresses you the most about it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, our bullpens, like I said last time, I think our bullpens or our pitching staff in general is the best in the Pac-12. But, the bullpen's coming along. I mean, like I said, it's next man up. We had our 1, 2, and 3 go down, unfortunately, but it's cool to see guys step up, and, it's awesome. I mean, we got a ton of guys, and we got more guys in the pen that you guys haven't seen yet. So it'll be exciting coming in here the next few weeks. We'll use those guys in Pac-12 play.
Anybody else?
Thank you.
Yeah.